small town American, I mean, your typical military person, people that are watching military content. I mean, what the hell is so freaking dangerous about that? Look at these freaking patriots. UK is collecting information on patriots, and oh, by the way, there is 1,000 different freaking companies out there that are doing this exact same thing happily. When you have, I'm going to put this out there, let's say I operate a surplus store anywhere in the United States of America, and I want to make a Facebook ad to bring people in, and I put X amount of dollars into a freaking ad campaign on Facebook via Google AdSense or anything like that. How do you think they know where to place that ad? I think everybody forgets I used to run like the US's largest privately owned firearms training facility, training law enforcement, training civilians. How do you think I was able to launch ads successfully and fill those classes in the middle of BFE, Oklahoma? How do you think I did that? Do you think I did the background research on everybody that would be happy to see all of those different classes being offered to them for firearms training? And we're not talking about regular firearms training. We're talking about like advanced firearms training, like 3-day suck fest out there. When you apply for ads and you put those forward, you take that and you go, boom, I'm going to blast this out. You end up entering the different demographics that you want this to affect down to the specific area. I kid you not. For those of you that have never done this before, you can even zero in on the specific area of the country, states, counties, things like that, in order to push ads appropriately. Now, how do you think these freaking social media platforms know exactly where you're at? Know exactly who it is that's going to be buying into that crap? Because they've already collected all that information on you. If you've seen ads for stuff like that that are well within your interest, that's what happens. This isn't you know what this is? This is a massive nothing burger, as far as I'm concerned. It's data mining, and they all take it, they'll all sell it, they'll all freaking transfer it. They just trade stuff back and forth. There is an online profile of you hidden within some freaking server somewhere that says, if this ad pops up, if it fits this specific category, then we're going to shove it in front of your freaking face because you're interested in that. That's how it works. I ended up showing this the other day. Very, very limited. I just thought it was funny. I think I posted this when I was like mid-flight on my way back from DC. Came across something and I found it extremely, extremely interesting. There's a particular MMA fighter. He goes by the name of Sean Strickland that has some pretty freaking crazy takes. Look at what he posted. Instagram on a random Tuesday, would you like memes about Nazis? I have never searched any of this shit, but the gram is force-feeding it to me. Are you serious? Apparently he doesn't know how this works. People have brought up all of the time, like, are they supposed to be listening to your conversations? Are they supposed to be doing this stuff? I literally, right before I went to like New York and DC, was having a conversation about needing to get a new suit. In the same day I go over to IG, and guess what pops up? Ads for brand new suits. And that's not a freaking coincidence in my opinion. That's just me talking to friends, having phone conversations, even sitting here on this podcast, and all of a sudden I get ads for suits. Why do you think it's feeding him this crap? Instagram also looks at what your friends like, and they'll feed you information based off of what your friends like and what you like literally what you like, what you hit that like button on. This is how it works. People that are trying to slam the Department of Defense saying that we are freaking loose and that we're going to get people killed using that stupid little story, in my opinion, is kind of out of it. Now, I want to know your guys' opinion because I want to bring this up because I'm going to go over it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to type a poll up on this. This is something that I kind of want to do, and I'm going to create the poll as I put this up. I want to know because I'm going out there next week. If not, I'm not going to waste my time. Would you guys like to see me live stream the drag show book reading? next week. I'm just curious. I'm curious, would you guys like to see this crap? And I'm asking because it is being done inside of a public library. This is the person on Monday, June 8th. I can make this event. This is the person on Monday, June 8th is going to be hosting this thing. Do you guys want me to go in there and live stream that event? Or should I hidden camera it? Do I need to borrow somebody's children because mine are currently unavailable? Otherwise, I'd drag one of my kids with me to go in there for this. Do you guys want to see this is the real question. I'm seeing 50-50 response right now. Some people saying yes and some people saying no. Somebody saying I'm trans fatigued. See that going on. Well, this is very interesting. This is good to know, actually. I'm happy I ran this poll. A lot of you guys are saying no. I'll be damned. Now we're 51-49. Get in there and vote, man. There's 1,600 of you guys. I want to know whether or not you want me to go into this public library where they're going to be doing this crap for kids, reading books to children. Drag queen. Do you want to see it? I think this person's name or handle on social media is Bizarre Misdemeanor, of all things. Do you want to see it? I see some of you guys saying expose the truth. Now we're flip-flopping. Now we're at
100. Anything to drink?
And a Coke.
And a Coke.
And a Coke.
And a Coke. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and you'll get round-the-clock protection.
A little on the nose, don't you think?
Another business to jump on right now. Like getting the, or whatever Nazis care, get the lip. Or just make fun of her. Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, it's like levels of innocence and harmless, so to speak. How many years have they been saying that stuff, and then it trickles and ripples?
Guns and girls come together like the diamond and pearls. One rule the world. Trying to tell me you're no ordinary girl. So, woman, would you like to come quick? I said now, woman, would you like to roll a little faster? Woman, would you like to come quick, quick, quick? Wouldn't you like it if we roll a little faster? to Cali, Cali. That's where I wanna be. I'm going, back, all the way to Cali, Cali. That's where I wanna be. Got up on the clips, and again I'm going to New York, New York. Got up a dozen clips, and then I'm going to New York, New York. And then I'm going, back, all the way to Cali, Cali. That's where I wanna be. I'm going, back, all the way to Cali, Cali. That's where I wanna be. I said you want some, even though you never needed, do you feel it? I said you want some, even though you never needed, do you feel it? Somebody little, somebody little, somebody little, somebody little. Shut up, they want to say no. Busy and I couldn't get through. I didn't mean to let you down. I know how much it hurts you, but now I'm through for you. Oh, you barely do, and all you have to do is ask me to, and all you have to say is still be waiting, and now I'm running back again. Try to make it up to you. This sleep is past behind. I promise that I'll do my best. Just my wicked ways. Don't believe the things you read or listen to things they say. Cause I will do for you. Oh, you let me do. And all you have to do is ask me to. All you have to say is still be waiting.
Good.
And now I'm rolling back again.
Oh, battery's good.
And now I'm rolling back again. If something's wrong, then let me know. You swallow things inside. Your pretty eyes can memo. Your sadness you cannot. Try to give me one more chance to set the record straight. Meet me here tomorrow night. I promise that I won't be late. Cause I will do it for you. Oh, you have to. And all you have to do is ask me to.
Yes,
And all
they
you
did.
have to say
I thought it was really good.
is still be with me. And now I'm going back again. And I will do what you. Oh, you have to.
Oh, on the scale, 10 plus.
And all you have to say
Extra.
is still be with me. And now I'm going back again.
our TIA advisor, asked me what I wanted to do, I made the decision to take part of my retirement money and annuitize it into a lifetime income. It gives you a peace of mind to know that there's a little bit out there that isn't going to change.
Dentures with industry-leading warranties. Aspen Dental. It's time to smile again.
Here comes music to set your soul on fire.
Yeah, every crack in the vinyl takes me back in the time when my Catalina autos spent my last buck on the title of my first car, my first love, where I got my first rub, where we did our first drugs. And the bikers and the vatos that I grew up with, trying to steal up my zapatos, now they give me shit for never being home for parties and the weekend trips. Well, fuck it, I'm coming over, man, I'll be that quick. You keep telling me to make it, yeah, to the spot where we would stay lit, and finish bottles never wasted, yeah, cause that's where I'm from. I'm feeling like old school mixtape, that's all I need. I'm killing that low ride Sunday, that's all I need. Everybody say, ooh, there ain't no place I'd rather be. I'm talking about right here, right now, that's all I need.
But this reminds me of a good time back in the day. Rolling through my neighborhood, must have been a Sunday. Daddy with the band sheets, pulling these rows, singing Scarlet around us, see the brothers roll. The boxes in the back will make the sound so sweet. The drop Cadillac will make it dance to the beat. I love the way it feels when the sun shines down on me.
I'm feeling like old school mixtape, that's all I need. I'm killing that low ride Sunday, that's all I need. Everybody say, ooh, there ain't no place I'd rather be. I'm talking about right here, right now, that's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need.
So maybe you forget the numbers. In Belém, in the city in northern Brazil, in advance of which, what was it, 60, 70 hectares of ancient rainforest were cut down so that they could build a road for the fleets of cars taking the delegates to COP30. They cut down the rainforest. How many of us grew up being lectured about the necessity to preserve every square foot of rainforest, and yet to build a road for their motorcades, they were quite happy to harvest 70 hectares of irreplaceable ancient rainforest. It's not authentic. And when it comes to us, the people, the small people, or the people great and small, look at what was done to us during COVID. That was supposed to be a health emergency. And what was done, when you think that if there was any genuine concern about people's health, it would have been about good food, diet, vitamin D, sunshine. It would have been about encouraging people out into the fresh air. What was done instead? They were locked down. The parks were closed, the beaches were closed, the hills were not alive with anything, far less the sound of people going about their happy business. The whole place was shut down. In what way was that a manifestation of any concern for people's health? And on and on and on it goes. No authenticity, no sincerity, hoaxes, scams and lies.
2468, who will help you customize and save? Liberty Mutual!
I don't know how easy it is to pick it up on this lens, but right in the centre is the flagpole, Scottish Saltire, but that flagpole marks the Borestone, which was a rallying point for Robert the Bruce's army And if it wasn't where the bulk of his army ever was, because that's debatable, it was certainly a point from which the approach of Edward II's English army could be monitored. This is more of Tinker's Loan, this walkway, bridle path, ancient way, whatever it is. And just being here is good for the soul, because the hedgerow or the ground either side is just so full of life, and it makes me think about life. It makes me think about people. And I couldn't help but notice as my thoughts were filled with the idea of just the regular folk of the population, I couldn't help but think about or notice that the Pope Leo XIV, the first American Pope, has put out the first of his encyclicals, which are it's like a formal letter. It's like a round robin. It's like a papal round robin that goes out first and foremost for the bishops and the archbishops and the priests, but it's also for general consumption. And it's the first from Leo XIV, and it's titled, the two Latin words that kick it off are Magnifica Humanitas, which means magnificent humanity, which is a noble thought. And his theme is the importance of remembering the absolute sovereignty and worth and value beyond price of human life in a time of artificial intelligence. His thesis is that people have to be remembered, and that the threat posed to their ways of life, to their well-being, to the dignity of humanity itself, has to be borne in mind by those who are driving the development of artificial intelligence, which the technocrats tell us is going to make us all redundant anyway. So it's high time a faith leader got up on his or her hind legs and said as much, contemplated that truth for all of us. Pope Leo has already had his head bumped by President Donald J. Trump, who's taken exception to that same Pope previously calling for peace. Donald Trump has accused them of wanting to stand by while Iran gets nuclear weapons and all of the rest, when any rational reading of what that Pope has said in that context has just been a call for peace and an end to human suffering. So there's no good relations between Trump and that first American pontiff. But I looked at least the headlines and the opening of that encyclical about magnificent humanity, and I thought about what it means and what the world we're living in at the moment holds for the small folk, the kind of people that were up here on Gillis Hill, waiting to see what would happen and how their lives would be changed by the outcome of the Battle of Bannockburn. And I thought about it's already being said. It's already all over the social media, and Gen Z and whatever has latched on to the fact that the Pope seems to be channeling Frank Herbert's novel, and more recently its adaptation as a movie, Dune. Because in that, Frank Herbert provides a backstory for the characters in Dune, such that thousands of years before the events that play out in the novel, that play out in the film, there had developed on Earth thinking machines, and they hadn't come out of nowhere. They'd been developed by technocrats, and these thinking machines had become so powerful that human life itself had been made utterly miserable, and the technocrats who had developed the machines were all powerful. And so there was this dreadful symbiosis between the technocrats and their thinking machines, and a jihad, and it is called a jihad in the novel. It's named after a person, Butler, So it's called the Butlerian Jihad, and it was a revolt by the people, by humankind, against the thinking machines. And by the end of it, the thinking machines had been overthrown, and laws were passed, and it became almost religious in its import that never again should machines do the job of thinking. Never again should machines be developed such that they would rival.
I have all their secrets. People have a right to know the truth. From Steven Spielberg.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world.
They're coming. You don't need to fear them.
I fear us.
I can see it. Disclosure Day. Rated PG-13. In theaters June 12th.
Far less threaten the thinking of humanity. And their overthrow sets in train finally the events that unfold in the novel. But that's already being, those connections are already being drawn, and it makes a person think, because I've suspected that where we are now doesn't have a quick fix. That the dominance that has come from the technocrats and the threat posed to humankind by thinking machines, by artificial intelligence, is not going to be fixed in 5 minutes. It's not going to be fixed in 5 days. It's not going to be fixed in 5 years. I suspect, like the jihad in June, it will be generational. But it starts with realising, as the Pope seems to have realised, that humankind is magnificent in all its potential, and that the lives of small people like you and me, each one of them and collectively, are far more important than anything mechanical. You know, there was a famous conversation that took place years ago in the 60s between Doug Engelbart, who was one of the pioneers of the internet, and Marvin Minsky, who was likewise involved in developing machine intelligence. It was a conversation that took place on stage in front of an audience at MIT, and Marvin Minsky was heard to say that they were going to give the machines consciousness. They were going to do all this for the machines, and Doug Engelbart said famously, "If you're going to do that for the machines, what are you going to do for the people?" And Marvin Minsky didn't really have any answer. And so the trouble's been coming since the 1960s at least, this rise of so-called thinking machines. So I decided to come out here and remind myself just about the magnificence of life in the simplest places. This is just a path through the countryside, half an hour's walk from where I live in Stirling. It's absolutely embedded in the history of the place. It's dripping in history, just as moisture's dripping off the leaves on the trees all around me. It is Gillies Hill. For people who study the Battle of Bannockburn, it's of iconic importance. But regardless of the history, on a day like today, it just demonstrates why we're here. It just manifests life and nature. And in a world in which we're bullied and pushed from pillar to post about saving the planet, about climate crisis, about pandemics, about human health, about the necessity for war, about the fact that while in the 20th century we were told that genocide is an inexcusable evil, now in the 21st century we're supposed to watch the genocide in Gaza and accept that under certain circumstances, if it's inflicted upon the right people, then there's nothing wrong with genocide. There's no authenticity coming from the powerful. Everything they say is paradoxical. They promise to save the planet, they force us to change our lives to change the planet, but they evidently have no care for the planet, except the ways in which it can be conceived of as a source of profit for them. They don't care about human life. They would conscript our sons and daughters into forever wars, throw them against Russia, throw them into Iran. They don't care about the planet, because while they tell us that it's windmills and solar panels that will replace oil and gas, when the moment came and they needed oil and gas for their data centres, which are the building blocks of the digital cage in which they would like to see us imprisoned, well, they need cheap, accessible energy for the data centres, and so they want oil and gas again. And so the whole argument about their so-called renewables goes out the window. There's no authenticity. None of it is genuine. If you want to see genuine, if you want to contemplate the meaning of life, get out into the wild wood where it's green, and refresh and recalibrate and reboot your soul.
For something new to come, something old must go. And now I just witnessed it on my own skin. I had to let go a lot. I faced a lot of demons. But after you face them, something is different.
Today we are interviewing for the last time Master Shang Yi.
I own nothing in this life. There's nothing that can be taken away. Rather than forcing your own idea upon life, take yourself a little bit back, be open, and just see right now what in this very moment does this life give you for opportunities.
Does anything stand out that was sort of a moment for you that was the dark side of the night?
The last 2 years I've never had such internal struggle, you might really call even depressed partially. The only thing that kept me having some hope, just actually thinking about what is it that I was teaching all these years before. At the darkest and most dense part of the night, the light will come.
The talking point I wanted to start with was the year of the stake, the year of the horse, and how it kind of related to, we've been talking about this transition for yourself, in context for yourself. I think it'll be quite an interesting talking point that we can use throughout the documentary. So yeah, let's jump off from there.
I mean, let's put it like this. There was really a time when even reading horoscopes or anything about astrology, it wasn't something I was really resonating with. But the more I literally opened the possibility that there might be something about it, especially knowing that people deal with these things for many years and since a lot of time, I dived in and actually looked like, what does the year of the snake, what does it stand for? And very, very often I really read things that are just not useful for you anymore, or also things that you have been carrying for too many years, carrying it with you, that would for future possibilities drag you down. It's slowly just gonna give you the possibility and open your eyes also that there is something that maybe needs to be shed from your life. And sometimes this happens consciously by you deciding what is it you need to let go, but it also happens in terms of giving you experiences where you just feel like it's such an experience I definitely would not like to have them walking on right now into the future. So, and that means so many things were happening, Jordan, in those 2 years. Like one main reason, meaning or one main change was that I moved from Germany, where the temple is located. I moved to support my family, which means that really from one day to another, the surrounding that I knew for many years, the people I was surrounded with, everything that I was on my daily schedule even, everything from one day to another, like literally felt like it's cut off. Yeah, so, and in the beginning, of course, being well connected in my old circles, it was in a way a difficult experience for me to let all of this move on, to let all of this, let's say, behind me and to move on. But at the same time, I just felt like there is that saying, in order for something new to come, something old must go. And now I just witnessed it on my own skin. Because in order now to really be there as support for my family, in order to properly raise my son, to stay with my wife, some changes obviously had to happen. It's just that in the beginning it felt really like something old about me, something old about the identity I sought from myself to be that time.
Oh, good.
I had to let go a lot. And this was now in regards to just the temple itself. Then at the same time, since our last documentary, I also had like this strong urge a little bit in the field of martial arts to also show or bring also a little bit into the mind of the people how much partially science is involved in all of these martial art methods that are derived from partially like 1,000 years, sometimes 5,000 years. And therefore I had this urge of also following that time different masters to learn more from them. And there I also felt like that it was not possible anymore to continue this type of relationship, this type of path, while trying to build up like a new life with my family. So literally like my identity I thought I was that time was shattered in many different layers. So literally temple-wise what I built up, I left it completely. The masters that I was surrounded with, they are also different reasons, but also didn't continue in that way. So I really felt very disconnected at some point with everything that I was feeling connected with before that. But at the same time, I also felt that why even would I try to hold on to something? Because I mean, I lived that experience of being inside the temple, being in the field of martial arts for so often, traveling the world, giving workshops, doing all the podcasts and interviews. This was literally how my life looked in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I would say. And after contemplating literally about it,
let's see. Maybe I can show you.
I didn't really have any argument anymore. Why would I continue? Why would I not allow myself actually now to very naturally and effortlessly just do what I feel, what I felt right in front of my eyes would be the right thing to do. Move on with my family, move on with my son. No big thinking needed. It was right in front of my eyes. And so this was just something that also made it for me then really easy and to understand. Actually, it's really great, the Year of the Snake, because it just helped me in a way. It just like mirrored in front of my eyes, what is it that now it's time to let go? And in the moment I went somehow into acceptance,
Can there be something Iran
and
has
didn't
on
see
POTUS for
this
him to be
shedding of the
stalling
skin,
like this?
this shedding
I
of the
think
old
what they have on
as
it is
something
their
which is
ability
like
to
unpleasant,
threaten the Strait of Hormuz. They don't have to
and
close
just
it.
switch into
They don't have to
possibility.
even mine it. They just have
It
to
was a
threaten it.
possibility right now
And
to really
it's essentially
consciously
closed.
tap into
And President
something
Trump,
new.
I don't think, had a
And this
plan for
something
that.
new, not because I wanted to push it, but because it was
there
just
are only two ways
effortlessly
to
right
to
in
fix
front
that
of my
problem.
eyes.
Either we go in and militarily
therefore,
keep the strait open,
This
which
year of
can
the
be
snake in a way
expensive,
was a
we're
lot
gonna go through
about
a lot
like letting go,
missiles and rockets trying to
but
shoot
with the
down
forecast,
anything
of
that
course,
Iran sends our
that
way.
now we are finding
And we still
ourselves in the
may
year of the so-called
lose a
fire
ship or two
horse.
that accidentally hits a mine or
Fire
something.
horse with
Or
a
we
lot
get
of
rid of the
energy
IRGC. That's it.
moving
That's
into
two
the front.
options. That's
If
it.
there is something
Next.
that can be built up,
Chuck, wouldn't it be a
now
bribe
is
if we
the
released
year
that money
that
before
supports
any
you, let's
of
say,
it?
with
Yes,
the
that
energy
would- I
of
would call that a
creating
bribe.
something,
And
which
that's
would then
exactly what
also
Obama did,
have
and
the
Trump has been
possibility
very
that it
critical of what
really
Obama did, and that's why Trump's
works
not going
in
to do
your
it. Next.
favor. And the only thing that I
Is the reason
at
why
time
DJT won't finish the job in
had
Iran
to contemplate a
kinetically
little bit
due to
was,
Gulf
what about the
states'
fire
fear of
element?
Iran's retaliations?
What about the
no,
fire
it's not,
horse?
because the Gulf states are actually
And now,
asking
to
President
simplify it,
Trump
I'm not a
to go hard
specialist,
against
but the
Iran
way
to
of
finish
how
the job.
I
So no,
interpreted
that's,
it for
that
myself.
doesn't have anything to do with it.
Either
Chuck heard a
you
couple
can
reports that
be
many in Lebanon welcome
motivated by
Israel
fire.
targeting
The fire
Hezbollah.
can be the
Even means some
fuel for
accidental
you
civilian
to
deaths. To
actually
what
move
extent do
on.
you think that might be true?
So
It
there
is
could be
true. It's
something
absolutely
that
true.
allows you to
I've heard
build
from
things
people
up
in Lebanon
more easily.
who say
But
that,
at the
and
same
people
time,
who are
the
from
fire
Lebanon who have
sometimes
family
also
there
stands for the
who are
fact
saying
of
that,
if you're not careful, that
look,
fire can
they
also
want
burn
to be
you,
rid of
meaning
Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a
depleting your
foreign,
energy
malign
and
influence
burning
inside
off your energy,
Lebanon.
making you
No
feel
question.
like
Next.
even if you invest so much, but in a way
Why did we
you're just
change
like
our goals in
burning
the war?
out
Do you think this is
without
part of a bigger
moving
plan by the
forward.
generals? There has to be someone in the military with some side of
And how
some
would you
type
know
of insight.
whether you're gonna be in the fire of motivation,
Our
the
generals
fire
know how
that
to win this
nourishes
war.
you, or
And if we
in the
take the
fire
handcuffs off,
that
they'll do it.
depletes you?
They will win the war.
And there I found
But
a nice
right now, President
explanation
Trump
which
is the
said
hindrance to that. He's not allowing
it
them.
is
He's the
about
commander in
how
chief. He
authentic
says no,
are you
and they
going
don't
to
go.
move into this
Next.
year right now.
Do you think President
Being
Trump makes us the
authentic,
laughing stock of the world? I believe he does.
doing the work
I
based
promise
out
you,
from
people all over the
your
globe are mocking
authenticity,
President Trump.
the fire
especially
horse
now.
is going to be under your support.
The respect for President Trump has
Continuing
tanked.
a
There
way
was a
of
time
life
when I would travel
not
the world, and
authentic,
pretty much everywhere I went,
that fire is
it
going to
was
burn
like
you.
every
You
country
feel
in
like
the world,
doing
the
something,
people would have
but
voted
you
for
won't
President
reap
Trump
the
to be their
fruits.
president.
You're just going to
I don't hear that
invest,
so much
invest,
anymore.
invest
I hear
in
people
unauthentic
that aren't even
being,
American
and it's going to
calling
just
him
go
Taco
nowhere.
Trump, which is sad
And this
and
literally
embarrassing.
also meaning for me, I mean, no, like
If Candace and
after
Tucker
not
were allies with Russia,
doubting
wouldn't
at
that make
all
them allies with
anymore
North Korea and
where
China?
all of this knowledge is coming from,
That's
I literally
absolutely
asked
true.
myself, okay,
Of course.
what is now authentic,
Yes.
what is unauthentic?
What, in your opinion, should we expect to see
Yeah,
next
and
in the Russia-Ukraine
even though
war?
I
Russia
never
continues
mentioned
to
all
get
of
its
these
head handed
previous
to them.
years
They're
before
getting hurt
that I'm a monk,
very
for
badly. They're
example,
losing soldiers.
people still
They're
portray
not
me
gaining
as
ground. They're
a
losing
monk.
ground.
And
And
even
the
when there was some
long-range
type of
sanctions
headlines
that
coming up,
Ukraine is
fake
imposing
monk,
on them with
I
their
never said I'm one,
missiles and
but it's
drones
still like I felt
is
like
hurting them
I
very
still felt
badly
something about
economically.
it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what may
So,
come
and
next.
these were many, many reasons coming together
The generals
where I
in
literally
the Russian army are
had to
considering
find a
coup.
way for myself, okay,
And
how am I going
Vladimir
to
Putin
navigate
is
now
actually
into this
kind
world?
of running scared of
And
his
one
own
of these
people
things
because he
is
sees how bad this thing is going.
I know what I
don't
stand
think
for,
unanimous. I gotta get out of the sun. I don't think
and I
Vladimir
just
Putin
don't
actually
feel like
knows the
anymore.
extent
I don't
of how
feel
badly
it.
Russia is
I don't
getting
have the urge
hurt
for
right
it
now
to prove
because his generals
anything to anyone.
don't tell him those kind of things because
That was like one little
if
but
a
very,
general
very
says,
essential
"You
switch
commanded us to
inside
take
of
this,
myself.
this
What does
town
it mean
in
authentic?
Ukraine,
It means that you're walking
and
through
we
this
failed,
lifetime knowing
that
what you
general
are,
is
knowing
probably
who
gonna
you
fall
are,
out of a
and
window
don't need any
in the next year
validation
or
whether
two.
somebody tells you is right what you do or not right what you do, if they like what you do or don't like what you do, if they like how you dress or don't like how you dress. The point is, I like it.
For transparency or truth.
I like
it's
it, and I'm in full support and in full confidence of what I say, of what I do.
And when the lies stop,
Doesn't matter if somebody else, let's say, from the
outside,
population in Lebanon,
but they are like later on the philosophical or maybe spiritual view. There's no outside.
So Hezbollah makes
It's just
up
a mirror
probably about 20%.
of sometimes the
Some
doubts
people
I
say
carry
it's
inside
less,
myself.
Of the population
If I give
in
no
Lebanon.
choice,
These are
I
not
give no choice
all
out there
Hezbollah
anymore, that there
fighters,
could
but
be
they're
something unauthentic.
people who are
I feel like this is something now where I literally feel it is a living practice. The doubt, the fear, the rejection, the looking for validation that like appears somehow out in the world, but maybe it's the
you got
source for it
Shiites
inside
and you got Sunnis
why
that all live in
then I
Lebanon,
start to resonate.
and it's part
And
of
so,
why Lebanon has always been such
ultimately what it just means is
strife and war.
even
Because
now,
it's hard,
even
some
less
fish
than I
just don't
did
swim
before,
well in a
but
pond with other fish.
even more now,
That's the way it goes.
really not
Next,
giving too
ceasefire,
much
insert clip
about
of
what's out here,
Diego Montoya.
and literally
I do
just
not think
feeling
that
what
word
is
means
like
what you think.
inside of me.
Yes, very good.
What is it there
Does
to release? What
UNIFIL
is it there to
actually
make me
aid and
nourish?
support Hezbollah?
And just from this
Well,
perspective
no,
on,
but
just starting
they
to
don't do
walk now
anything
through
to
this
stop
lifetime.
Hezbollah either. And up until the war
And
started,
in the
they
same sense,
had to get permission from Hezbollah
just like
to
as a
even
helpful
patrol.
practice also,
And Hezbollah would tell them what roads they could patrol on and what roads they
being
couldn't
very
patrol on.
attentive, let's say,
Now, I'm pretty sure that
on
UNIFIL
what
soldiers looked the other way as Hezbollah
I
was digging
am
tunnels right
getting
next to their
hooked
bases, because that's been
every time
shown
when I get
many
hooked,
times.
I directly try to like
So I'm
return
sure
back,
there were some people in the UNIFIL
return back to
universe who were sympathetic,
making myself empty.
anti-Israel. Some of the
No fear,
peacekeepers from
no
UNIFIL are from
expectation,
like
literally
Ireland.
walking
And
through
we know
this
that
lifetime,
Ireland
and every time
has
just
got a
feeling
lot
what
of,
would be, what is effortless
liberal
at this moment?
people who hate Israel.
What is
Ireland has
effortless at this
recognized the state
moment?
of Palestine.
Whatever is effortless,
They are
take the chance,
actually
do
providing
something about
alumina
it, use the day,
to
go
Russia
in the conversation.
that Russia
But
uses
what
in its
fell off
weaponry
completely
to
is
kill
if something
Ukrainians.
is not present
The
somehow right in
Irish
front of
are
me,
making
the
money
urge to
hand
now
over fist
force
because
something which
everybody
is
else
not
quit selling
here.
alumina to Russia. But Ireland
This is
has
something that,
continued
in
to
a
do
way,
it. So Ireland is kind
changed
of
about
on
me,
the wrong side of history.
or that I'm working on.
Next.
And
Chuck, did you hear about the abandoned flotilla boat? Found off the coast of Lebanon? I didn't hear about that. I heard that there are some members of that
Goals that socialists are trying to achieve
and are
are noble.
put in prison in Libya.
The rhetoric of socialism is attractive.
Right now.
It speaks of a humane ideal.
Marx, like Marxist communists after him, were answering some pretty fundamental questions of the human condition.
Marx believed that vast inequalities of wealth would lead to inequalities of power. The secret to Marxism is he was right when considering a profane liberal society.
What human history shows is people like having their own things. Actual socialism, the denial of private property rights, doesn't work economically and produces human misery. Marxist socialism was the prevailing ideology in one of the most powerful countries in the world, the Soviet Union.
Stalin took very seriously the idea that socialism needs to transform human nature.
Just a quick pause from the episode for a short but important message from our sponsors, Element. If you're feeling flat lately, low energy, brain fog, struggling to focus, there's a good chance that it's not lack of motivation and it's not caffeine either. It's hydration, but more specifically, lack of electrolytes. But water on its own actually doesn't hydrate you properly unless your body has the electrolytes it needs to absorb them. That's why we use Element. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte mix with science-backed ratio of sodium, potassium and magnesium. No sugar, no artificial colours, no weird ingredients hiding on the label. It helps with energy, focus, muscle function and recovery. It's trusted by everyone from elite athletes to military units to doctors and professionals, which says a lot. As you can see from our full fridge over here, we drink Element every single day and it's genuinely become a part of my morning routine. Element backs it as well. They offer a no questions asked refund. So if you don't like it, you get your money back. And if you live in the US, you get added bonus of getting free shipping. For a limited time, our viewers are getting free sample packs with your first order by heading to drinkelement.com/mulligan or go to link in the description. Once again, that's drinkelement.com/mulligan or go to link in the description or the pinned comment and get your free sample pack today. Try it, see how you feel, and then decide. Let's get back to the episode.
I love that gauge of, I guess, like working towards, or working in the unifiers of authenticity. Because I think when I hear Firehorse, I'm like, okay, cool, if I've got any goal, then it's going to help me. But I think when you add the element of authenticity into it, that's a really good gauge to work with. When you talk about the last year being difficult, the last couple of years being difficult, in film we have this expression, it's the dogs all of the night. You know the dogs all of the night? Does anything stand out that was sort of a moment for you that was the dogs all of the night?
It was not just one night, this is for sure. But it's really strange, yeah, that the first time I heard this expression was actually during the time when I felt like I was, I don't know, people like in all these years before, they see me as somebody who has like maybe some nice advice, has some nice wisdom, has some discipline, has some mental strength and all of these things, yeah. They could buy influence in the government. Why was it for me even? I would say all of these 40 years, 42 years, 43 meanwhile, the last 2 years I've never had such internal struggle, internal difficulties like in those last 2 years. So I cannot even express how much like I felt.
Qataris have been working to do things like that.
So on the one side, like everything that happened apparently outside of myself, what happened like in the temple, what happened like with all types of problems suddenly to start all at once. It's like I had like 30 years of no problems, and now suddenly like everything comes within 2 years.
In the United
like
States,
this.
Russia is using
So I really felt partially really smashed here.
And a whole bunch of other people as
no
proxies
perspective,
in the United States to try to sow division,
no
cause
solution what to do,
and get us at each other's throats. And
no energy,
largely successful.
Sometimes not even in the mood to eat something. Yeah, just
what sort
like
of nation
really,
are we if we can never risk
you
a
might
soldier
really call
more?
even depressed partially.
My thoughts exactly. Yeah, we're
The only thing
a
that kept
cowardly
me,
nation if we
that kept me
refuse to risk our
somehow,
soldiers in war.
you might call it
And
having
ask the
some
soldiers
hope,
themselves. I mean, if you talk to actual soldiers,
was
they'll
the
say,
fact that
I didn't join to spend my
just
entire
actually
career
thinking about what is it
guarding
that
a
I was
concrete
teaching all
block
these years
somewhere
before.
or training for the rest of my life. I want to, I mean, I've
At
been
the
training for the
darkest
Super Bowl this whole time. I want to play.
and most
I want to get in.
dense part
Send me off
of
to
the
war.
night, it is the beginning of the small light. When it
When
cannot
ammunition
get
is
more
shot
dark,
down from the sky as in
the
the
light
Iron
will
Dome,
come.
what happens to the debris?
And literally, this is like
Well,
simply
because
like
you
this
don't
is
hear about
something
people
that
dying from that
I
because
kept
the
alongside
people
and telling
know enough
myself,
to stay in
come on,
shelter
just keep going.
for several minutes after
Just like
the all
don't give
clear
up.
sounds. So
Just have
as
trust,
these
just like
things are coming
endure.
over Israel, they get shot down by the Iron
Endure,
Dome. Yes, there's
sit
lots
with
of debris that
yourself.
falls down, and they have had people killed by that debris.
And this time,
and injured.
literally, I also like really
But for the most
felt
part, people have been taught, and they
the fact
know,
of even though it
stay
was a
down,
lot,
stay undercover until all the debris has fallen.
but it's
and then you
only
can
when I
come
think about these things
Why can't we get together with
that they were heavy.
the Middle Eastern countries over there in Israel and
Only
figure
when
out
I keep
different
these things
quadrants
in
of
my
Iran
mind,
and each country is
then
responsible
things
to
become
attack,
heavy.
and USA will provide air cover.
And at some point, I don't
would
know.
take
I don't know.
more
I
than the
wouldn't say
combined
it's a recipe.
militaries
I wouldn't say
all the
it
Gulf
is a
states
method.
and the United States
But
to
at some
actually
point,
take over and occupy Iran.
it was like
The
I would
conservative
say
estimates are that it would take
just accept it
650,000
how it
troops
is.
at a minimum.
Literally with a smile.
And that would only get us
Like-
control over the major population centers. To control
How
the
worse
entire
can it
country,
get?
you would need
Allow me to-
millions, like 2 or 3 million troops.
How worse
to do
can
it,
it get?
because Iran is a large country.
So in a way,
So that's
suddenly
why.
like the acceptance of
Are there many oil spills in the
all of
Strait
what was
with all
there now.
bombing of ships? Yes, there have been
The
some.
acceptance, okay, this is how life
Adrian,
looks right now. But
There was
exactly
one
in
off
that
Barg
moment,
Island
somehow
not long ago. Some of these ships that have been hit have spilled oil into
some
the Gulf,
lightness started to
and
come.
that is causing environmental problems.
And
obviously.
together with the together now with the year
Where
of the
are you?
snake,
I'm
also,
in
okay, I mean, maybe
southern
that's the shedding.
Croatia right now.
Maybe me being confronted right now with all of
Does
these
Trump
things
still
that give,
support
that just
Israel?
let
Seems
me
like he
feel
hates Benjamin
this is
Netanyahu
where you're
and
attached,
Hezbollah.
this is where you're
Yeah, I
attached,
mean,
this
he
is where you're still
blaming the
holding on,
victim, saying,
this
you know,
is where
if-
you still live in illusion.
Netanyahu would just stop fighting, this war
Yeah,
could be
then I
over.
literally took it as, okay,
Netanyahu's not fighting
maybe it's
because
just
he
like
likes
the
it.
perfect
He's
timing.
not sending his troops to die
Maybe this
because
is
he
all
wants
just the perfect
war.
timing.
He's defending his country. That's blaming the victim.
Yes, and
President
together with all of these things, then
And he does the same thing with
with
Ukraine.
the forecast,
which is very
with the hope for the fire horse,
Are you familiar with
things gonna
Raymond
become lighter,
Bryan, Ibrahim's
Earth Day's
work
gonna come,
on
all of
crusades
these
in Islam?
things.
I don't think so.
I somehow made it. I somehow made it.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Do you think DJT is
I've never
regretting
burned
attacking Iran?
so much
What was he thinking?
internally.
I think he is regretting
Heart burning,
the
soul
going
burning,
after. I mean, he
body
keeps saying it. I
burning.
agree with him that we needed to attack Iran.
Like in this
It had to be
transition,
done.
I have to say.
And I think he's right on that. But I think he's
But
also
at the
going,
same time, sitting
do I
here
get
right
out of
now,
this?
I can also
need
not
help.
deny
You know, I need
that
an off-ramp.
because of
And he's not
exactly
getting an
this
off-ramp.
period that felt
his
so
off-ramp is,
difficult.
we're losing the war at the rate we're going. And then this would be a classic case of snatching
It is so
defeat from
easy
the
right
jaws
now
of
to
victory.
walk through the day.
Meaning, we
It is so easy right
chose
now
to
to
lose the
walk
war
through the
even
day
though we were winning
because
at the beginning. Okay, we got a couple people who've sent super chats, super thanks. Thank you very much. Smarty updates.
I think that
Thank you for that. I appreciate
not
you.
telling to myself,
And
but
that's
it's
all the
really
questions we've got
difficult.
for today. So
These moments,
just
I
in
really
an
felt
hour,
it there super
please go to
hard.
chuckholton.com.
I never had it in my own
there
life.
if you like this kind
Now
of
I
content. you
felt
want
it
to see more
somehow
of it.
that, okay,
And,
no matter
you can
how
go
good you
to
think you are, or how whatever, when
that's
you're
right,
in such a moment,
HoltonNewsStore.com.
you just
If you
endure
want to get
and go through
t-shirts,
it.
hats, mugs, merch,
The one who comes out of this
whatever.
is
We
not
need
the
to get
same
a
who entered this.
banner up.
This is,
that
I know
stuff,
for
maybe.
sure.
Let's see if we can remember.
And maybe for me that was just
All right.
a little bit this
Thank you very much for
realization
watching
of
from
what
southern
was it
Croatia.
everything I was trying to hold on to.
And I'll see you next time.
And meanwhile, if I sit there and think back about what was it in all these times that I was like hooked on, and now I'm not anymore.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not, and everything is like very light, very bright, everything is good.
It's time to stop
Maybe this was like
Trump and MAGA. Progressive champion Matt Dunlap
some
took on
signals for
Trump
me
and
to
won.
face it,
I know a
to
thing or two about
face
taking
how
Donald
this
Trump.
world
Now,
is.
Matt Dunlap is running for Congress to save democracy and pass Medicare for all.
Therefore, there is
Time's
even a
up
type
for
of
DC's
thankfulness
Democrat Joe Baldacci, who stands
of
with
having
Trump and
experienced
opposes
this
Medicare
darkness.
for all. It's time
But it
for
was not
progressive
an easy
fighter
one.
Matt Dunlap.
So
Real Change PAC is
prior of
responsible for
going
the
through
content
this
of
type
this
of
advertising.
experience, I thought I went through a lot,
Did the revolutionary
but this one
guns
topped
in
it off.
Iran think an American destroyer?
Bertolli, made with fresh cream and aged Parmesan. Take the Alfredo.
Iran claims it hit an American ship.
The face
and the United States
reflects like the
is denying
sparkles, almost like looking at the stars when you look up at the sky at night.
The Royal Oak Concept Watch paved way for all the concept watches that followed.
It took a lot of trial and error, and then we arrived at a point that we both were really happy about.
To reach an atomic bomb. All the details are coming up.
I think a lot of people who watch
And he's
the
the
videos
blockade
probably
and
have those moments or even going through those
This is how the
moments and
United
they're seeking
States is
answers.
wearing down
And I think
essential cards.
a lot of it is like they want to hear from you. What was the trick? Like, what was, was it meditation? Was it something that you ate? What would you put it down to? Because you said their acceptance, but I even think that people like, okay, I'd love to accept, but how do I even accept as well?
One thing is
Because I want to open with a question. Is the
literally
risk that Iran is
stay there.
secretly advancing nuclear weapons higher today
Stay there.
than it was before the United States
I
and
observed,
Iran
for
launched
example,
the first
in the
military attacks
beginning, like when
against
I
the
felt
Islamic
all of these
Republic 1
messages
year
coming,
ago.
all of this heaviness starts
So,
to come. yeah, partially, like even unconsciously, sometimes I felt like, yeah, it's little things. You watch on the phone, after you watch on the phone, you go out of the house, go and do something. Somehow try to make yourself busy with something. Busy in order not to just sit there and let all of the stuff that is heavy on you get more heavy on you. So really diving into the heaviness of the moment. That's what I mean by stay there. So don't use any type of distraction with the hope that when you are getting distracted, all of that heaviness is going to disappear. If I would have to do it again, I would directly, when it comes, stay with it. When it appears, directly stay with it and directly dive into it, even if you want to say like this. So every attempt even that has something to do with non-acceptance of the situation is just going to prolong it.
He said it could happen over the weekend.
So
he also
sitting with it
also
meant that in a way. In the beginning, if something like unpleasant happens to you, something unpleasant, some unpleasant message or whatsoever,
but they did something.
It's always easy to say, all of this is not my fault, I don't deserve it, it's very unfair that all of these things are coming towards you. Okay, number one is, forget about that one directly. It is coming for you because you did something in your life. Let's start with this. All of these things right now, they are coming based on your previous actions in this lifetime. Maybe let's stay with this lifetime. So it has very clearly something to do about how did you live your life, what were your values in this life, and how did you base maybe some type of decisions in your life. Who did you choose to let into your life, which then afterwards you think they betray you? Why did you let these people into your life so they can betray you? So this was like a little switch, meaning directly facing the situation, looking into it, okay, it's very unpleasant, and literally asking, what is my part in this?
American media outlets,
what is my part in this?
And how they're to rely on in some of the reports.
And then this is where also it started to sometimes sitting there and then really old memories, old stories from the past. Like we had in one of the interviews when I said like the caretakers that I grew up with. Things that I accepted, even knowing that it was not, I didn't want it, but still accepted for the how would I say it, for just that the other person is feeling more happy. Yeah, sacrificing my happiness for the benefit of somebody else's happiness. Placing somebody else in front of me. All of these things then popped up, linking it to all the situations that I felt somehow were now escalating. That we're now coming up to such a big scale that is undeniable anymore, that something is not correct in this way of living. So that also meant that spending a lot of time with myself and seeing, okay, what is there? What is there that it's time to not take it into the future anymore? Now is the time. All of this happened in the year of the snake, yeah, funnily. So I felt on the one side it was heavy, but at the same time, like the energies of the snake was there. So I saw it literally as it's the perfect time. That means I put even more, let's say, effort into figuring out, okay, let's look at all the shit. Let's really look at all the shit.
Where the Lebanese army, with the support of the United States, will have exclusive control.
The more I did,
The United States stated that
the more things
ceasefire
became
is
clear,
conditional on
and finally,
Hezbollah stopping its
I
funds
became more
and an
clear on the
evacuation
inside,
of all
and the
terrorist organization
circumstances also became
operatives
lighter.
north of the Litani River. According
And
to the
then
announcement,
something was
both
just, I
sides
don't
will
know.
advance the establishment of pilot areas
I was
in
really
which
thankful
the
for this
Lebanese army will have
heavy
exclusive
and difficult
control.
moment. I cannot even
Another round of talks is expected to take place in 3 weeks.
properly express it. How can you be thankful for such a difficult time? Yeah, but I am.
Cancellation of Hezbollah's
Because
attack
without this,
and the
I would have never
dismantling
went
of the
into
infrastructure
some
throughout
type of
Lebanon are
shift
a
inside of me,
necessary condition for
where I
its
just
security.
feel right now
The
how
terrorist organization,
much,
which does not recognize the talks at all, is meanwhile silent.
how much easier,
But according to the agreement,
lighter,
which speaks
more
about
loving,
dismantling
more
armed
kind,
organizations,
more
the
grateful
Lebanese army
things
will
have
receive
become.
exclusive control in
Because
the area
something has just
without the
dropped
presence
away
of
that I was
non-state
pulling
actors.
with myself 42
What
years
does
ago.
that mean?
Regardless of, yeah,
If the terrorist
but what have you
organization decides
achieved,
to
yeah?
raise its head,
And this is
the
really
IDF
different,
will
you know,
be
people
forced to
seem,
return to
yeah, but
fire.
you are now Shaolin
Meanwhile,
master
the
here and
revolutionary
there,
guards in
so
Iran are
spread
still
all over the
broadcasting
world,
threats
yeah.
towards Israel.
But just because
If
like
Israel
something is
attacks
looking
Hezbollah
great on the
and
outside
targets
doesn't
of
mean the
Hezbollah in
person,
Beirut,
if he's
Iran
not in
will
front of
respond
the
firmly.
of
This
the
is
camera,
what Iran's foreign minister Abbas
doesn't suffer.
Araghchi said today. So there is a lot
Yeah, so
ahead
what
of
you
us.
see on Instagram, you
So
know,
let's dive into
how
the
can I
details.
say, it's just,
I'm here, Pinto. With
it's
me
the
is
part
Matt
of what
Shoshani.
people
We
maybe
are
want
here
to
on
share
Boots on the Ground,
publicly,
and we bring you the
but
whole
doesn't mean
truth
they don't have
about
like
what is
another
happening
side
here in
where
Israel
nobody is watching
and
them,
in this
doesn't
war
mean that
against
this is
the
also
revolutionary
like
guards
what they
in
express.
Iran, which is
And
the head
something
of the
is just
crumbling
telling
axis
me,
of evil in the Middle East.
or I witnessed it
And
by
1 second
myself.
before we
People saw me
continue,
always
I
as
want to
very
point to
strong,
keep
and
spreading the
yeah,
truth.
to some
Share our
extent, yes.
content with as many people
But
as
I had
possible.
my
Click on the
difficulties
subscribe
for sure.
button. Share this video. Let me know when you're watching
And
from, where you're
especially
watching from.
in that time, that's why I
And
mean
search
I
us up
didn't post anything too much
our
on
social media accounts,
because
Yair Pinto and Mati Shoshani, so you can see this world from our eyes behind the scenes.
I really didn't
Now,
look good, I would say.
With us is our senior Middle East correspondent,
Deprived from
Mati
sleep,
Shoshani.
deprived
And
from
according to today's
eating,
publication,
emotionally,
could
like
it
really
be
not in a good
that
state.
Iran's nuclear danger has actually grown after all the attacks because now the regime understands that without a bomb, it's too vulnerable.
So I would
Does that make
literally
sense to
say
you? Because to me, it doesn't make so much sense.
that was like this
after
time
so many bombings,
where I
they
faced a lot
are
of demons.
closer to reaching a nuclear agreement than they were before.
My demons.
I think we need to ask ourselves, who's saying that?
And where things were
Who's
just
claiming
not
that they're
nice, yeah.
And if that claim's coming out, it's all from people that are detached from the reality.
But after you face them,
Or they
and
want to make a
after you
political
know which
And let's
demons
start
are
from the
in
political
there,
point. Who
something
has
is
an
different.
agenda to say that after, again,
Something is
let's call it a
different
month
now,
of
because
strikes in
now
Iran,
at least you are conscious
the
about
majority
it.
of their
You don't
nuclear
deny
material
anymore
is
that
buried
there
underground
are
and buried even
forces,
deeper
there
underground,
are
where their
energies
scientists are
sometimes.
removed, the heads of
Yeah,
the
if you
nuclear
don't like
program
this
are
word
removed, the
demons or
centrifuges are
anything,
blown
there
up
are
to pieces,
just
the supply chain is broken, and this
there are
is
just
done not
sometimes
once but twice
some
within
feelings inside of you that are so strong,
within a
which is
single
going
year
to cut
twice.
out
Last summer
everything
and
that
now
you have
in
as
the spring of this
intelligence
year.
or as
If
knowledge,
someone looks at
and
that
it's
and
just
says,
gonna like
there's been no
urge
damage
you
to
to
the
like
nuclear
do something.
program. That's insanity. What
And
is
I'm
true
just saying it
is
is
that the
good
resolve of
to
the
know
Iranian regime to
what
hold on
are
to
these
enriched
forces that are
uranium and to
existing
have a
inside
bomb,
of you.
that's
Because
probably
in the
higher than it
moment
ever
where you
was.
realize,
That's
yes,
more
it is a
a
part of me,
dictator's survival skills than it is actually related
and
to
the
the
Buddha,
bomb. Because what they look
both
at it
of
as,
them,
they look at it
a
as a
part of you,
survival tool against foreign
then
influences.
it's possible.
Is
that still running?
Because then the communication with the demon in you.
It's really nice. So it's hot. It feels way cooler than.
Sharing that, I think it's nice
Yeah.
people to understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
On a pedestal maybe that, or like you go through, you've been through these things,
I sure hope so.
But that is like the interesting part, yeah. For sure, I have human sides. And what does human side actually mean? That a lot of things are coming out of habits. We are habitual beings. If some way of thinking keep continuously repeating the way of how you think, at some point the way of how you think is just following a pattern. So even our thought patterns in a way become a habit. It is a habit every day how you are thinking. It is a habit how you are behaving. And habit in a way means for me, there's something replacing
patronizing,
conscious.
what do they call it?
Because there is a type of automatism hitting in right now. So, but this automatism also means there are processes then running your life you are partially not aware of.
It can be very patronistic for sure.
And this is where I see like this whole connection when I said before the demons. Demon meaning is why? Because there is a force making you do something, making you say something that very consciously and aware you would not do. So that means if it's not you consciously doing that, saying that, who else is it? And this is what I mean by there are sometimes forces that are causing you to become unconscious. Not based on habits, for example, that you have attained throughout this lifetime. And yes, this is what makes a human being. But now the great part is, and also just to link it, because maybe it doesn't make sense for some people still, why the great part and the great treasure of the ancient traditions, namely right now the tradition of the Shaolin Temple, is the Zen part from Buddha. It is the Zen teachings, it is not the movement. Because even all these movements that are based on repetition, of course, become skillful, but it all still deals with the body. It's just funny right now that from the same temple, the Shaolin Temple,
it's always been happening.
There is a core delivered from Bodhidharma, brought so-called Zen Buddhism or founded Zen Buddhism in the temple. It is exactly this type of pointing that is able to liberate yourself from all of these habitual happenings. Because these teachings are pointing at something that you truly are, which is not human.
Be like
As strange as it sounds.
Welcome to Wix Harmony. Take the speed of AI and pixel level control. To go from words into a full website that's entirely yours to shape. Need a new page, section, or a restyle? Ask Aria, your personal AI agent. There it is. Flow naturally. Activate yourself. This is the new way to create Wix Harmony.
Uptown Funky
No pasa nada, seguimos.
Uptown Funky yeah, probably.
And this is where we are.
Just a quick message from today's sponsor. After putting my body through extreme physical and mental stress over the last few years,
like a lot of stereotyping stuff.
most people don't have a health problem, they have a clarity problem. They know something feels off, but they don't have real data or real guidance. That's what Marek Health helped me with. This isn't generic healthcare. You don't get brushed off, you don't get handed vague advice, or have to wait months just to have a real conversation. You get comprehensive lab work, dedicated health coach, actually checked in, and licensed medical providers who help you understand what's happening in your body and what your options are. Whether you're dealing with low energy, sleep issue, hormone imbalance, or you just want to perform at your very best, Marek gives you the tools and the team to make the progress. No guessing, no one-size-fits-all protocol. This is real health optimization service. And this isn't just for athletes. If you're someone who takes performance seriously, physically or mentally, this is about making informed decisions. Instead of
Holy smokes, that's already at an